Beamy Liam, 28, senior software engineer at a mid-sized tech company. Life's been pretty decent. Good job, nice apartment, saving up to maybe one day not live in an apartment. Our team is small, just 5 of us, including my boss, David. David is in his late 40s, a genuinely good guy. He's the kind of boss who knows his stuff but isn't a micromanager. He hired me right out of college, mentored me. Basically, the reason I'm any good at my job. The rest of the team is cool too. There's Ben, another senior engineer and my work buddy. And 2 junior developers fresh out of college named Chloe and Sarah. Chloe and Sarah are enthusiastic, very into social justice, which is fine. Most people our age are, but they take it to another level. Always talking about dismantling the patriarchy during lunch breaks. Again, fine, you do you. The conflict starts, if you can even call it that. It's a Tuesday morning meeting. We're brainstorming for a new project feature. David is at the whiteboard drawing diagrams. Chloe suggests an idea. It's not a bad idea, but it's not fully thought out. David, in his usual constructive way, says, "That's a good starting point, Chloe. How would we handle the edge cases here and here?" He points to some potential issues on the diagram. Chloe's face falls. She gets quiet for the rest of the meeting. I don't think much of it at the time. It's a normal part of the creative process. Ideas get challenged, refined. That's how we make good software. Later that day, I overhear Chloe and Sarah talking in the break room. They're whispering, but the office is small. I hear words like microaggression and patronizing. 1:22, my ears perk up. Sarah is saying something like, "He totally dismissed your idea just because you're a woman." He wouldn't have done that to Liam or Ben. I want to intervene to say, "Hey, that's not what happened." But I'm not a confrontational guy. I figure it'll blow over. It does not blow over. The next day, there's an HR meeting on our calendars. It's mandatory for our whole team. The meeting is with a woman named Jessica, the head of HR. She's very corporate. Polished, professional, but with a smile that doesn't quite reach her eyes. David looks confused. Ben and I exchange a look. Chloe and Sarah are sitting there looking very serious. Jessica starts by talking about the importance of a safe and inclusive workplace. Then she gets to the point. It has come to our attention that some members of this team feel that their contributions are not being valued and that there's a pattern of dismissive behavior from leadership. She doesn't name names, but everyone knows who she's talking about. David looks blindsided. He's a good boss. He cares about us. He asks, "Can you give me a specific example? I want to make sure I understand." Jessica looks at Chloe. Chloe clears her throat and says, "In the meeting yesterday, when I shared my idea, you immediately shot it down. It felt like you were being patronizing." David looks genuinely confused. "I didn't shoot it down," he says. "I was asking follow-up questions. That's how we brainstorm." Sarah chimes in, "But the way you did it was a microaggression. It was a subtle act of sexism." 7:22 Ben, who is usually quiet in these situations, speaks up. "I was in that meeting," he says. "David does that with everyone. He did it to me twice last week. It's how he pushes us to think through our ideas." Jessica from HR holds up a hand. "This isn't about intent," she says. "It's about impact, and the impact was that Chloe felt her voice was being silenced." The rest of the meeting is a blur of corporate jargon, unconscious bias, privilege, emotional labor. One David sits there looking more and more defeated. He apologizes to Chloe, says he'll be more mindful in the future. Chloe and Sarah nod, but they don't look satisfied. After the meeting, David calls me and Ben into his office. He closes the door. He looks like he's aged 10 years in the last hour. "What the hell just happened?" he asks. We tell him what we overheard in the break room. He just shakes his head. "I've been managing teams for 20 years, he says. "I've never had a complaint like this." The next few weeks are tense. The team dynamic is completely shot. Chloe and Sarah are constantly on edge, interpreting everything David says as some kind of slight. David is walking on eggshells, so afraid of saying the wrong thing that he's barely managing at all. Our productivity plummets. The fun, collaborative atmosphere we used to have is gone. It's replaced by this thick, suffocating cloud of suspicion and resentment. Then the other shoe drops. David is called into a meeting with Jessica and the CTO. He's in there for over an hour. When he comes out, he walks straight to his desk, packs up his things, and leaves. He doesn't say a word to any of us. We're all in shock. Later that evening, he sends a text to me and Ben. They fired me. I call him immediately. He tells me that Chloe and Sarah filed a formal complaint against him. They had a whole list of microaggressions. Things like complimenting their outfits but not their code, or asking them to grab coffee for a meeting. 4/7/12. David is devastated. I've always tried to be a good boss, he says, his voice breaking. I never meant to make anyone feel uncomfortable. I'm furious. This is a man's career, his livelihood, destroyed over a bunch of trumped-up charges. The next day at work, the CTO calls a team meeting. He announces that David is no longer with the company. He introduces our new interim manager, a woman from another department. Chloe and Sarah look smug. They think they've won. That's when I decide I can't let this go. I talk to Ben. He's just as angry as I am. We decide to do some digging. We start with Chloe and Sarah's social media. It's a goldmine. Public posts for the whole world to see, tweets about how all male bosses are trash, Instagram stories celebrating David's firing. One of them even posted a TikTok video where they're dancing with the caption, "When you finally get your misogynist boss fired." We save everything. Screenshots, screen recordings. We also start talking to other people who have worked with Chloe and Sarah. It turns out they have a history of this. At their last internship, they tried to get a male manager fired for inappropriate comments. The comments in question. He told them they did a good job on that presentation. This isn't about justice, it's a power trip. We take everything we've found and we go to David. He's hesitant at first. He doesn't want to cause more trouble. But we convince him that he can't let them get away with this. He hires a lawyer. The lawyer is a sharp, no-nonsense woman named Miss Evans. She listens to our story, looks at our evidence, and a slow smile spreads across her face. "Oh, we've got them," she says. David files a lawsuit against the company for wrongful termination and defamation. 37, the company tries to get it dismissed, but the evidence we have is too strong. The social media posts are particularly damning. It's hard to argue that Chloe and Sarah felt unsafe when they're literally celebrating on TikTok. The lawsuit process is long and grueling. There are depositions, mediations. 1824, I have to testify. So does Ben. It's stressful, but we stick to the truth. We talk about what a good boss David was, how he mentored us, supported us. How the atmosphere on the team was great before Chloe and Sarah started causing problems. The company's lawyers try to paint us as disgruntled employees, loyal to our old boss. But our stories are consistent and the evidence backs us up. The turning point comes during Chloe and Sarah's depositions. Miss Evans is a master. She calmly presents them with their social media posts. Asks them to explain their TikTok video. They squirm, they backtrack, they try to claim it was all a joke. But the damage is done, their credibility is shot. The company, seeing the writing on the wall, decides to settle. They don't want this going to a jury. The settlement is substantial. 3689, David gets a generous payout, enough to live comfortably while he decides what to do next. But more importantly, he gets a public apology from the company. They have to issue a statement retracting their reasons for his termination and clearing his name. As for Chloe and Sarah, they are both quietly let go a few weeks after the settlement is finalized. I hear through the grapevine that they're having a hard time finding new jobs. Turns out, when you Google their names, the articles about David's lawsuit are the first things that pop up. The new manager, the interim one, is made permanent. She's a good leader, fair and competent. She works hard to rebuild the team's morale. It takes time, but eventually things start to feel normal again. Ben and I are still there. We're the old guard now. We have a few new junior developers, a mix of men and women. They're all great, eager to learn, passionate about their work. There's no drama, no walking on eggshells. Just a group of people who enjoy working together. A few months ago, I had coffee with David. He looks good, relaxed, happy. He started his own consulting business and it's doing really well. He told me something that stuck with me. He said I was so angry for a long time, but now I'm just grateful, grateful for you and Ben for standing by me, and grateful that I'm out of that toxic environment. I'm grateful too. Grateful that we stood up for what was right, grateful that in the end the truth won out. It was a long and ugly fight, but it was worth it. We got our friend's life back, and we sent a message. You can't just destroy someone's career with baseless accusations and expect to get away with it. There are still good people in the world, and sometimes they win.